Hi everyone, Simon from Higher Plane Games, and I hope you're well. It's just approaching the last few hours of the Steam Summer Sale 2023, and I've been down into the deep dark depths of Steam to find games that are at least 50% off, relatively cheap, so most of these games are under a fiver, and most of them are like under £1.50, £2, some of them, that people don't seem to have ever talked about or known about, or I certainly have never heard of. There might be one or two well-known games on this list, but the vast majority of them are in the depths of Steam. So that's the kind of games that I buy and promote on this channel, so I thought this video would be worthwhile. Let's kick off with Samurai Gunn, which is one of those kind of arena-based brawlers, similar to things like Towerfall and stuff like that. 2 to 4 players, no bots. You have 3 bullets, but then you have potentially lots of Bushido blading to be doing. And at 90% off, I don't mind at all. So pick that one up immediately. There is a sequel to this, but obviously it's chunkier in the price. So I've just bought the first one to see how it goes before I stick the second one on my wish list, if there is something good here to play with. But I adore this style of game and play loads and loads of different versions of pretty much the same thing being put out time and time again, and I have no problems with it. So easy add to basket for me. Next up is a game called Lightkin. Now this describes itself as a chaotic bullet hell game where you play as a flame of light, like an ember. Oh, thank you, trailer. But, then you have to then consume other flames basically to keep your energy and yourself alive. It looks like Fantavision to me, which was why I was like, add to basket, and I will add to basket at 90% off, 69p. Felt like a weird abstract game to pick up and play, so why not? Next up is a game called Anachronox. That feels like I've butchered that well enough. This is a early 2000s Square Enix RPG, cyberpunk themed. I did spot, let me bring it up. There's no trailer for this one, but this woman just reminded me of the lead character from Enter the Matrix, complete with the same hexagonal glasses pretty much as well. So yay for that. Probably plays better today than Cyberpunk 2077 did on release. Ooh! Turn-based RPG as well by the looks of it. So again, 69p, 86% off. Me no complain, and this could well be a retro classic that I've just never had the chance to play because I don't remember this being available on PlayStation, and I was always a PlayStation console person, not an Xbox, so if it came through that route, my only way to pick up those games are to buy them on PC, so now felt like a good time. Next up is a game called Ogre, and this is a digital adaptation of a board game that I've never played in real life, but it is tactical hexagonal gridding warfare, which generally I quite enjoy, even if I am terrible at. This game is 90% off. It does come as part of a bigger development or publisher like sale of various 80s inspired games. They do feel quite retro and tactical, but I just wanted to try out this one. This is currently, I think, also quite heavily discounted on the current PlayStation Network sale as well, so pick your poison. Yeah, we'll see. It's a high mixed rating review on this, 67, so obviously mileage is varying for some people, but look quite cool. Next up is I Am Not a Monster First Contact, and this is again a tactical turn-based strategy game. But I really liked the B-movie vibe of this. There's a few games that have done this kind of ridiculous B-movie vibe that I really, really lean into and enjoy. So this is sending itself up quite stupidly. It's 85% off, £1.39. It's part of LBRY, who I know do an awful lot of like mobile-y games that stretch out small things everywhere. But the fact that they put it in with They Always Run, which is a great game, and Distrust, which I enjoyed as well, makes me kind of think, this could be juicy. So yeah, turn-based tactics, online co-op as well, I didn't realise that. Looks potentially quite decent. So I'm Not a Monster First Contact, added to the basket. Next up is a game called York.io, which is a strategy tower defense game, but made to look really abstract. So I think the idea is that this is all around like building up a fort to stop endless waves of zombies. Yes, well done. There is also York.io 3 on Steam, but not 2. Don't know what happened there. But this, again, 59p, 85% off, me no crying. And it's also in a strategy bundle with Shapes, which is a cool game. So kind of made me go, maybe worthwhile looking into. And at that price from a solo dev, why the hell not? Join more than 1 million players. That could well be one of the popular games then. Next up is The Legend of Dark Witch, which is a 2D action adventure game. A little bit of an anime vibe and aesthetic to it, but at 80% off at £1.17. It looks quite cool. Now this does come with all kinds of other things with its sequel and soundtracks as part of a bigger collection, but I've again only bought the first one because I'm new to the series, and sometimes with these kind of 2D platformers you have to be quite disconcerting these days because so many of them are asset switch ups, but this felt like it was trying to introduce new things, as you can kind of see by the trailer. So we'll see how we get on, and it's been out for over 8 years, so relatively positive on the reviews. Added to basket. Next up is Dual Core, which is a wonderful player twin stick shooter. I adore twin stick shooters. I always feel overpowered and like I'm killing everyone in the world and getting out all of my frustration about daily grinding life. So this looked quite good fun, vibrant, silly, and the multiplayer aspect is quite cool too. So free demo for anyone that wants it, 80% off, £1.49, 3 pence. Looked good to me. And online, potentially co-op as well. I'm assuming if that's still going. This game came out in 2016, so that might not be applicable today. Next up is Factor D. Or Factor B, as I think I was looking at some of the initial concept art for this. It's a turn-based RPG fighting game. Thank you, trailer. And the manga art style just really, really made this pop for me. But also just having played a couple of turn-based 2D fighting games, I thought that this might scratch multiple itches for me. So we'll see how it goes. Really low on the review scores because it's in early access and has been for over a year. The updates are coming, but small and in between. But at 80% off at £1.49, it felt like a tactical risk to take. But yeah, looked quite cool. And we'll see how that develops. Next one up is Supreme Commander 2. Now, I must admit, I've bought the Supreme Commander Collection, which is 85% off at £4.76. And that gives you Supreme Commander 2, it's kind of DLC, Supreme Commander 1, and that one's DLC 2. So, again, RTS, sci-fi strategy, base building, all of that juiciness. These, I believe, came through early PCs in the early 2010s. So part of the Square Enix sale, I went through quite a few of those games, picking up some of their old retro classics that I just never had a chance to play, and this was one of them. So I wasn't really an RTS person 15 years ago. I am much more now. Maybe it's an age thing. Yeah, added to basket. Next up is a rhythmic bullet hell game called Barrage Musical A Fantasy of Tempest. It might be called something else beforehand, but I can't read that, sadly. Yes, anime art, here we go. But the idea behind this is that all of the enemies are reacting to the music that's going on, and you need to battle all of the different music as it goes around. Looks very Toho to me, but in a good way. So we'll see how that goes. 75% off, £1.74. Why the hell not? Add to basket. Continuing with my rhythm obsession, another 75% off is RHYUP. Now, it's always dodgy that a game that's been out for 4 years still has no reviews. And it isn't a looker, but I love a rhythm action game, so I will take the tactical gamble for everyone. And no doubt this will pop up as a review later on in this year when I get to actually playing it, so that people can actually think, is this a worthwhile game to go for or not? Because who knows with what on earth is going on screen. Rhythmic shoot 'em up. 75% off. We'll see. Next up at 75% off is Xenoshyft Onslaught. This is a base defense deck building card game. It's again on that high mixed rating, so nearly 70%, so I didn't feel too bad taking it at 75% off. That's just the base game though. If you want all of the extra expansions, it is a wee bit more. But I was looking at the expert bundle that it comes with, and I'm a big fan of Small World, big fan of Scythe, and a big fan of Terraforming Mars. I don't have the Lord of the Rings adventure game, to be fair, so I can't comment on that. So it felt like it was in good company, and base building and deck building games are all about whether or not you click with the vibe of it all or not. So yeah, we'll see, and it's been out for several years, so let's have a go.
He's fast.
Next up, we're off adventure actioning and Metroidvanering with Super Mombo Quest.
Super Mambo Quest, you explore a magical dimension.
You explore a magical dimension. This just looks super cute, and again at 75% off at £2.84. Why the hell not? Very positive on the reviews as well at 96 and 98%, which kind of makes me feel like this is a no-brainer purchase. Cool vibe, very early 90s Sega Mega Drive era graphics, which I'm a sucker for. Take me back to my teens, why not? Next up is Mana Go Round. So again, this is another game with no reviews on. I'm taking the risk so that you don't have to. 75% off at £1.79, didn't feel too bad though. And I've not played or heard of any of the rest that it's bundled with, so God knows how this will go. It's a match-free puzzle game with different circles that looks a bit like Puyo Puyo Pop. But there's something going on with those circles in the background too, as if like there's two layers of matching. So we'll see how we get on. Single player mode, as you can see, online stuff, not online stuff, but local multiplayer stuff with shared split screen too. Could be a potentially hidden gem, who knows? But I'll get round to reviewing this one too. Next one on my old rhythmic platforming fun is Retrowave Rider. This has been on my wishlist to be meaning to pick up since its release actually. Again, just a couple of reviews on there, only came out last year. There's quite a lot of these styles of games. I feel like people need to make themselves stand out a little bit. This could be a bit basic for it all. But Synthwave versus Neon graphics at 75% off at £1.07. I feel like it's a relatively easy dive in for that one, even if it is a bit basic. Next one up is Assud. 72% off, 22p. This looks absolutely odd and like it's going to give me a seizure, but who cares? 22p, action, precision platforming, rhythm based. Feels like it could be a laugh. Next up at 69% off is the Hextones series. I'm just going to dive into space time here because it's two games, but they look quite similar, to be fair. This looks like a tactical match 3 style game. I also like the fact that it's playable with a Tilt 5. I don't have a Tilt 5. I am considering getting one because every time I see it in use, it just looks like one of those peripherals that I'm going to go, it's not worth it, but I'm going to enjoy it anyway. But yeah, it just looks like a cool aesthetic. I've heard some people talk about this before, this game, with very high recommendations, saying that it's much better than what it looks like in the gameplay. So I'm taking a punt with it, and I got the duo because it was cheaper to get the duo than it was to buy this on its own. Okay. Next up is Ben and Ed Blood Party. Now I got the first game in this series. This is the sequel to it that came out in 2018. The idea is that you build trap mazes for people, and then you have to try and get your ragdoll through them like that. So by hook or by crook, your little zombie friends will try and get through to the end, but depending on how damaged and ridiculous they are, will depend on who wins and who survives. You can share your levels via the Steam Workshop. The first game I hadn't had the chance to play tons and tons of, but it's absolutely hilarious, and this looked like just the great time to go for the sequel. Now I got just this one because it was 70% off, and that was fine. I think I got a slight more discount because of the bundle, because I've already got the original, but you can get both of them for 79% off at $370 something. So Yeah, big thumbs up, good giggle. So this is the obvious kind of, everyone knows this one, but I've kind of had it on my radar for years since release, and yeah, totally accurate battle simulator, just looks ridiculous. And currently at 66% off at $5.26, this felt like the right time to make that plunge. So I have. Plus, I want to see those massive mammoths just whip everyone around the face with their trunks. Next up is the Dark Quest Trilogy. So, again, caveat on this, I haven't bought any of the Dark Quest games before, but it was cheaper to get the Trilogy than it was to just buy Dark Quest 3. So I bought the Trilogy at 62% off, £8.93. This is roguelike dungeon crawling, turn-based. Look quite cool, mostly positives on across I think 2 of the 3 games. The other one's got a mixed potentially. It's not popping up. But yeah, this looked like one of those ones where I could do late night dungeon crawling without perhaps too much big brain power. So we'll see how we go. This next one is also one of those games where it was cheap for me because of the bundle that it was in. TerraScape is all about like a puzzle / city builder style game, which allows you to build different types of buildings as you place stuff in. So it's doesn't look or feel quite as rigid as some of those like hexagonal ones, but it doesn't feel too far off it. So I was super intrigued. Now, I've already bought and reviewed on this channel Panorama. So I'd got this at for £8 the game was for TerraScape for me because I bought Panorama. If you're just buying it on its own, then it's only 25% off. But it was just slightly more for me. So that's less than 50%. Simon. Maths was a failure. Ignore this. Ignore this one. Next. Okay. 51% off is Tori 3D. Now this is the first of 2 Tori games, but they aren't available together in a bundle. You have to buy them separately. These just look like silly, ridiculous, retro PS1 styled 3D platformers. So I really like the look and feel of this. And at 39p for 51% off, really, what's the risk? So you've got Tori 3D and then there's Tori 2. Which is the sequel, again 51p sent off at 39p. Same thing, but just looking very, very cool. Next up, also at 50% off, is Grapple Force Rena. So after Umiharu games, I've been kind of trying to look for different ways to do grapple hooks, and Grapple Dog has always been like the top tier game for me for this. So I was just interested to see that there's another grappling platformer that made me go, looks quite cool. So been out for 5 years, very positive on the reviews, 50% off, $5.69, picked it up. I'd also recommend the fact that it comes in a bundle with the Freedom Planet games as well. They are fantastic. So if you've got the DOSH, there is a decent collection there. But some of those Freedom Planet games aren't on sale, so that's why it's not a redonkulous bundle. The next game up is called Beat the Song. This is a traditional rhythm action game. I must admit, I've already installed and played this for about 20 minutes, and I regret my purchase. And I'm going to be reviewing this, basically saying don't buy it. It's not great at all, and so yeah, just be careful with that one going forward. But if you are a big rhythm fiend, then maybe you might get something out of it. It does come with custom chart builders, or the ability to put in your own custom charts and insert MP3s if you've got them to hand. So that's probably its biggest selling point. Next up is Mo Astray, a pixel art side-scrolling action platformer. And apologies, I think my modem has just decided to reset itself in the background, so there might not be trailers pulling through here. 50% off at £5.69. This looks quite cool. So, oh yeah, nothing's pulling through. Never mind, we'll continue on, we're near the end. looks cool to me. So again, 50% off, diddly dun da dun. This next game is the Soul one, is over a tenner. It's Here Comes Niko. I've been eyeing this one up for ages. It is a cozy 3D platformer where you can go around collecting various different things, solving different puzzles and doing all kinds of things. But it's in that kind of Paper Mario style setting where the characters are in a 2D plane like pixel art, but then it's in a 3D environment. It's like that, quite cool. Again, 50% off, $10.49. Next up is Bare Butt Boxing, which is a multiplayer physics game where you are bare-butting boxing each other. 1 to 4 players, 50% off, £5.69 again. They just added AI bots, which is what has triggered me to buy this, because I try to get as many bot-infused local multiplayer games wherever possible. But yeah, look quite cool, this one. Again, added to basket. Tainted Grail Conquest. I've got a funny feeling Low Budget Gaming had this on his list, and that's where I found it and added it to basket. So 50% off, £7.74. This is a deck building fantasy card game. Again, I've said earlier on that those are all the rage for me at the moment. And this looked like a good high quality game that had had quite a chonky discount. So yeah, there we go. Lots to enjoy. 50% off. Next up is a two-player game, or well, a two to 4 player game, sorry, actually, called Stack Up or Dive Trying. So the idea behind this is that you are placing loads and loads of boxes everywhere to try and get to the ceiling as quickly as possible as the water in the room rises. So if you don't climb up everything, or if you fall off, you will drown and be out of the game. You've got that for multiplayer game. There are no bots, unfortunately, but as a single player game, there's like time trials and instead. So yeah, it just looked silly and stupid, and that's me. 50% off, £2.99. Next up is Swap, which is a minimalistic rhythm game that sees you... again, you won't be able to... I wonder if there's a picture of it further down. No, there's not. So the idea behind this, if you can see on the Swap banner, you've got 3 different lines, pink, yellow and blue, or red, yellow and blue. Oh my God, red, green and blue. There we go. And the idea is that you keep rotating those 3 coloured blocks around to capture all of the different colours that are coming down to the rhythm of the game. So it looks really difficult. Everyone's kind of going, in the reviews. So this could be an extreme hit or miss, but £1.69, 50% off. Why not? Next one up is Grabitoons, and this is another 50% off multiplayer local game with various different mini games in it. So £3.34. Look quite cool. Again, not pulling stuff through. Here we go. So various different things like trying to clean up snacks and all of that kind of stuff. There seems to be some weird versions of football going on. But yeah, 15 different mini games. You unlock different variants of them and different pieces to build your Grabitoons as you go. Look quite good, especially for the price. And last but not least is Zandu, which stands for Xtreme and Over the Top. So this is tic-tac-toe, but with power-ups. I think it's probably the best way to describe this. And across like multiple boards. So each character has its own HP, and then when you win a board, that damages the other player. So again, 50% off, £1.44. This is like an extreme. We'll see how we go. So yeah, that is my deep dive into the weird and wonderful world of Steam Summer Sale 2023. You can tell it's like nearly midnight, isn't it? I'm tripping over my words. Thank you so much for your time. Hope some of those were interesting for you to either add to your wish list, or if you've got time, pick them up whilst the sale's still on. Have fun. Take care. Catch you soon.